And we are back. The long anticipated, waited, never hated, always congratulated. Childish Grownups podcast, where we are rewatching childhood films with a twist. I am one of the hosts. I am Maurice Hunt III, but y'all can call me Mo. With my two co-hosts, if y'all would like to introduce yourselves.
Girl next door, Ash.
And it is Mia.
Yeah, that might be the. Oh wow, I love that you play that. I like it. I like it. Yeah, like y'all heard, that's the girl next door, Ash, and Mia G. I think that's kind of fly. Is that your last name, G? That start with a G?
Oh, it is. It's
Okay.
Grissom.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, oh, Mia G. Because I had seen you before on IG, and I didn't know that I didn't make the connection. I was like, oh, that's the same. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, Mia G. That sound like a famous name or something. I don't know. But yeah. But nonetheless, we are back and we are here to talk films. We thank those who reached out to us from our previews before the movie episode. Got a little love here. Ash may bring that up here. Truly enjoying this. I think we got a truly a great episode coming up for y'all. I think y'all gonna really enjoy this. It's gonna make y'all Tuesday a wonderful Tuesday. It's something that'll put a smile on your face, something that'll take you out of the space that you're in just for a brief moment. So today we're going to be doing Lion King. Before we get into our segment, today we will be doing Lion King as we will preview our next movie at the end of the episode. Ash came up with this. Did you say why you picked this movie last week? I don't know if I asked that.
Just it's my heart, and I feel like everybody's heart probably just has a special hold on, a lot of us childish grown-ups. So, why not come out with a bang? So, yeah.
Okay. What we got over here, me? Is that the
my Lion King live on Broadway show?
Ooh,
I'm hating.
Nice.
I'm hating.
Yeah, for sure.
See why you do that? Like we've been texting all day. Why you do that? You know what I'm saying? You could have, you could have put us on. I ain't had no Lion King, but but nah, that's dope. That's dope. This something I'm gonna throw in the mix here before we get into Ash's segment. Have y'all had a childish grown up moment this week? And if y'all haven't, I'll start off with something. So it's something very small. Something we do in our household is what we try to do is when you got kids, we have a 10-year-old as well as a newborn, and it's a challenge because she's at that stage where we're not that cool to her. She's kind of puberty's kicking in, and you know what's next. I don't even want to get into that, obviously, as a father, but but we play video games, so we got an old game system. It's just a Wii, but still, we're playing Mario, and it's so funny to me. Like we get so passionate, just as we were as kids. Me, my wife, and her. And then of course we give our son. We hit him with the old trick we used to do back in the day. Give him a fake controller.
No batteries,
no batteries. Like, oh no, you got the special one. So we playing Super Mario on the Nintendo Wii, and we've been knocking out some levels. So that's kind of a childish grown-up moment I've had this week, and it never gets old. It's sometimes you don't look forward to it when you got to do it. When you get into it, it's always it always pays off. So that's my childish grown-up moment for this week.
Oh man, let me see. I have many childish grown-up moments on a daily basis. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, but my 7-year-old, she's something else. But she's really into Hamilton right now. The stage play and the soundtrack.
Oh wow.
So we've been having like jam sessions all week. She's right up there with me almost. She can recite almost every word from start to finish, at least act one. So we've been riffing, going back and forth. She'll be Alexander Hamilton, I'll be Aaron Burr. We'll just go back and forth.
Wow. You're a Hamilton person.
Oh yeah. Big time.
You are a very unique person. That's so just learning so much. Really, really unique. Like with the musical shirt, the plays. Like, yeah, that's dope. All right, that's dope. The Hamilton, the back and forth, getting your wild style on.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Ash?
Yeah, me as well. You know, I got an 8-year-old son. So he was playing some music on his phone, and we were just kind of having a dance off. I don't know. I was just like, I'm gonna just start like rocking out to his music just to see if he'll join in, because you know how my son gets shy and all that. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna just really rock it and see if so he liked that I'm enjoying his music. I'm like, okay, I see you. You know, and then he dancing with me, and so just getting him out of his shell. So I was like, sometimes I just feel like being childish. So I'll go in there and be like, you know, what you doing? And we did watch a movie today. We watched Wild Robot. That's something that he wanted to watch. That was a really good movie. It was an animation movie. I really enjoyed it. Had a good message in it. And we play video games too. So I'm always a childish grown up in that aspect. So definitely video games for sure. So
yeah, the animated movies now, man, they hit different.
So good.
Now. They be hitting. Like I ain't gonna even lie on that. We can't be playing like we always hit like our generation, but like I gotta give it to them on some of their animated movies. I'm like, hey yo, they really got the strong message and how it's really good these days. So well that's dope. That's dope. Before we get into the film and all of that wonderful stuff y'all looking forward to, Ash has a segment for us.
Yeah, so wanted to add a little, you know, intro piece to get us warmed up. It's called The Flash with Ash. So kind of just taking us back, giving us that 90s feel, whether it be trivia or just some fun facts that I came across for Mo and Mia to tap in, and for the Stoop kids. So
shout out to the Stoop kids.
Yeah, shout out to them. So yeah, I want to get that started. I got 3 questions for y'all. And my mic is a special mic. You know, it has LED lights. So when I turn this on, it's time for Flash with Ash. So let me go ahead and activate that for y'all real quick.
Y'all gotta check out the YouTube as well.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Tap in. All right. So the first question that I got for y'all: what 1992 Disney movie featured the lyric "soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky"?
92.
So, got that. I know that.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. Let me go first.
Okay, hold on. It's Disney. All of the really, really good ones the fire ones started coming after this movie, Lion King. So it's got to be something before that was good. Soaring.
Endless diamond sky.
I mean, I want to say Aladdin, but did Aladdin come out before Lion King?
Final answer?
That's all I got. Yeah.
Mia?
Yeah, Aladdin.
That is correct.
Oh, let's go.
That is correct.
All right.
Yeah. So y'all really some stupid kids. Okay. Right. Second question. Which Disney animated movie became the first in history to be nominated for the Best Picture at the Oscars? Keyword Oscars.
So there's got to be a category at the Oscars for animated films. I gotta say Lion King. I'm gonna take a stab at it. What the movie we're doing today? I mean,
okay.
Unless it's a real life picture.
I'm gonna take it back, and I'm gonna say Snow White.
Yeah, those are not correct. The movie is Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
One that goes over our heads. I never think about this movie like when we talk about.
It's definitely lower for sure.
I love Beauty and the Beast, but I wouldn't have thought that was the first.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it was the first either.
What was did you see what the award it would have been for? The nomination was for?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay. Nope. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Wow.
Last one. What's the name of Rocco's faithful dog in Rocco's Modern Life? Is it Punky, Dunky, Spunky, or Bunky?
I don't think I know this one.
This one blew me because I'm like, I don't remember. I'm keeping a bean.
I really don't remember.
Okay, I'm going Spunky.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Bunky.
Bunky is correct.
Which one?
Bunky.
It's Bunky? I've been saying the wrong name all these years. That's wow.
What you been saying, Dunky?
Spunky.
Oh, you been saying Spunky?
Yeah, I for sure thought it was Spunky. Bunky. Wow. Mia with the half court shot.
I know. Okay.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so that's it, man. Flash with the Ash. Tap in every week, and I'll have something new for y'all. So
yeah, dope segment. So now we get into what y'all been waiting for, The Lion King. Just saying it just give you the chills, right? The Lion King. I literally think of the intro. So before we get into like our general conversation and all the things that we love and enjoy, how much we praise this movie, The Lion King was released June 15th, 1994, and it is a Walt Disney classic, I think we would all say. Just some things to add to it. It had games, toys, and other things. So as far as games go, along with the film, it had 3 different video games based on The Lion King that were released by Virgin Interactive in December 1994. The main title was developed by Westwood Studios and published for the PC and Amiga computers and the console SNES and Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. Dark Technology created the Game Boy version, while Xerox handled the Master System and Game Gear version. Did y'all play this game at all?
I did.
On which system do you remember playing this on?
It would have had to have been, because Lord, go back. It would have had to have been Sega.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sega. You know the level that stands out the most. I don't know if this will come as soon as I think of the game. The first thing that comes to mind is the Stampede level.
Yes.
The Stampede level was crazy. Like trying to get away from them with that forward motion this way. That was man, peak living right there. They always hit you with that on the 90s Instagram.
How many times you throw your controller?
Oh man, listen. Probably on one hand, because if you grow, you got a black parent and you know what time it is. So probably I can count on one hand.
Yeah, one time for that.
Yeah, you got ain't no replacing them Sega controllers, bro. As far as toys go, the chain gave away toy characters from the movie with their kids meals. I think Burger King sales of the kids meals tripled after the promotion began. Also, they were at Toys R Us. The store sold over 200 Lion King products from Mattel and other manufacturers. Now, if y'all on YouTube, y'all ain't get to hear the trailer commercial that I've threw in. So that means you got to bounce back over to the podcast. So y'all really got to tune in on both sides to get everything. Did y'all have any Lion King toys at all, that you can remember?
I remember I had a Simba little stuffy, the little stuffy. Mm-hmm. And I know I got the kids' meal toys.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like I had Simba or something from McDonald's. I feel like they was throwing them in there for sure. But that's all I remember, just from kids' meals.
Yeah, it's probably the same. We definitely was taking it for granted. Like in that era, like there's people that are collectors that are like, they'll go to Goodwill, they'll go all kind of nostalgic places and collect it. Now it's like, dang, I wish I had it. But like back then, we used to get toys so often for a Happy Meal or the big kids meal, Burger King, whatever. We used to take it for advantage of it. We just like, okay, they gave me a little. We just throw it to the side after a while. We didn't care. But now looking back, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have kept some of them things, some Ninja Turtle toys, them Pokemon, all them joints. So probably had something like that. I can't remember it vividly. I wish I did, but probably had something like that. Also, Coca-Cola. There was a Coca-Cola collectible phone cards and playing cards and trading cards. I don't know if Mia, did you have those? I definitely had those.
I remember them. I don't know if I had them, but I definitely remember them.
Okay. And the last thing I want to mention here is this was a part of the Disney Masterpiece Collection. They released the VHS tapes in March of 1995. Y'all remember that specific on the VHS, like the special, the Disney Masterpiece, that you remember that special cursive on it? Like you're like, oh, this is like, this is like the big dog release on VHS. And if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but Lion King had that deluxe package, right? Like you remember the extra plastic on the VHS tapes, you got the ones that slide in, then you got the ones that close like a book.
Yeah.
Like if you mess it up too much, it'll never close. Yeah, man. I remember that. So I always thought that was super significant and dope back then. You had that in your household, Mia?
Yeah, I had the whole collection. And I'm so sad because I couldn't tell you where any of them are now, but I had the whole I had so many VHS movies. I had the whole Masterpiece collection.
Fun fact, as an adult, being young and broke in your early 20s, bad credit and all those things that come with being childish grown up, we didn't have cable, and I wasn't trying to get cable because it was just ridiculous. And so we got a dual, a VHS tape and DVD player. This is definitely way after the fact. We're in the 2010s now, and that's not really popular no more. This is right before streaming, and I started to go on a journey, and I started collecting from Goodwill's Disney movies. Like I was serious, and I was finding really good ones. Like in my mind, I was like, "Yo, y'all just go get this away for 75 cents." I get it's old, it's super old, but and we used to use those like before, obviously having our son. Like when she was little, 1, 2, 3 years old, like we hooked that joint up in her room, and she was watching the classic Disney movies, and that was like a game changer for real. So, yeah, these mean a lot. Like those VHS tapes, man. Listen, those. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, you took me back with the Masterpiece. I just looked it up on eBay, and they're selling it for $600,000, bro. The VHS Lion King Masterpiece.
Listen,
$600K. Woo!
That's crazy.
The Home Alone.
That had to come from Walt's house. Right,
hey, Macaulay out here. What?
Yeah, Macaulay. That had to come from Walt's house. I need the exclusive. Walt literally said, "Hey, you know what I mean?" Because goodness, 600,000 is wild. All right. So now that we got anything else y'all want to add into kind of those like interesting things about Lion King before we start to get into our conversation about this film? Okay.
I think you hit it on the nose, man.
Okay. All right, so let's get into our rewind. Remembering the film back then. So what I want to ask y'all, and I'll start with you, Mia. Your recollection, as much as you can kind of remember. Again, this came out in 94. We were all really young, so I'd imagine we remember it kind of differently because we were probably older rewatching it, where the memory is attached, even though it came out in 94. How do you remember this film at that time in your childhood, whenever you've seen it, and what it meant to you at that time?
So I know that I saw it probably when it first came out, but I wouldn't remember because I was 3 going on 4. But it was a staple of my childhood. I remember even after I can remember watching it probably around 6, 7. It was still very popular. And if you recall, I don't know if you remember, but Disney used to do this thing where they would put movies in a vault and you couldn't purchase it anywhere. And then they would re-release it on VHS. They're like, we're taking this out of the Disney vault. And like a re-promotion of it where you could go back out and buy it again. And they would like re-release toys. And I remember the re-release of it. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember, so Lion King has always been one of my favorite movies for many reasons. I don't remember because at that point in time, I wasn't paying like extreme amount of attention to media, but I do remember toy commercials. I remember, the re-release of it would be like Disney's such and such anniversary. We're seeing this from the Disney Vault and you could rebuy it. But I'm pretty sure my dad probably bought it for me before, I could even remember that we had it. But
Okay. Ash.
Yeah. Gosh, what was that? 2 going on 3? You said June 15th it came out, so yeah, I was probably about to turn 3. But no, for some reason I remember watching this at grandma's house. Like I have a fond memory of just watching it at grandma's, and I just and this was when they were doing the sing-alongs and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, like they're singing. It just made me feel happy. I do remember that, and I just thought it was dope how the animals were talking. Like these are lions. Again, this supposed to be, a lion is scary. So I'm like, these lions, this had me believing that lions are friendly. Like, yo, Simba is cool. Like I could just go over there, go to the zoo, and he gonna be cool. But no, that's not the reality. But like in that moment, like I'm like, they singing. You got your one bad one, which is Scar, but other than that, they're friendly.
Right.
So it just had me believing that I was such, engulfed in that childhood memory of like, it just was a happy movie. And it's like, I remember wanting to watch it over and over just because it just put me in a happy place. I thought it was cool. So yeah.
That's good. Grandma's house. Huh.
The one on the hill.
But where we went to Belmont when we moved back?
Yeah. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's a staple over there.
Yeah.
For me, man, daycare comes to mind.
Okay.
Daycare comes to mind. You remember when y'all was in daycare, you get dropped off, rather it's before school, after school, mostly probably after school. And the whoever's a daycare teacher makes you do a vote. All right, y'all. How many of y'all want to? I used to be so mad that people didn't want to watch Lion King. Like, how we're gonna watch? I don't know, something totally. I'm like, man, are you Flubber or something? I'm like, Flubber, man, put it on Lion King. Are y'all serious? Like, as a little kid, I could remember being like, yo, Lion King, are you, like, in my mind, nothing could compete with Lion King then. Like, and it was a fire movie. The music was great. The colors was great. And I'll speak a little bit more to that when we get in to the depth of the film. But I just remember daycare, like just watching it and being into it. One of those films that some people would go and play with toys and stuff or whatever, or you could sit down and watch film. And that was the one that I definitely was locked into. Like, oh, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch this. Like I that's what comes to mind right away, is like just being a little boy in daycare watching that and them popping the VH, and this is the TV with the VHS tape inside of the TV. I know people don't even understand that now with the flat screens, but like that, it was like the plug and play, just drop the joint in there. We going. So man, the daycare, man, fond memories. I've watched a lot of classics in the daycare, man. Shout out to the daycare.
Shout out. Now you're taking me back.
What y'all say?
I said, shout out to the big back TVs.
Man, the big back.
Curtis Mathis is out there.
Man, the Curtis Mathis, dude.
No, I do remember voting though, like you said. That does kind of, that you just took me back. Yeah, like is Lion King, Toy Story, or something else? And like
something else totally different.
They never wanted Lion King. Like, what's up with that?
Because we burned it out for real. Like we burned it out. Like it went platinum everywhere. I mean, the numbers are ridiculous. If you look online what Lion King did, the numbers are ridiculous. Okay. So let's have this overall discussion before we get into our pivotal moments. Watching this film this time, like, obviously we'll get into more details in the pivotal moments that suit the plot and what resonated and connected with you. But this overall discussion that I want to have about it, like, this time watching it, was it pretty much the same as you remembered? Was it a little different because of your status and where you are now, being a childish grown-up? Or, I want to kind of see, what was it like this time, your experience this time watching it, going through all of the moments and everything? What was it like for y'all?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I watched this movie countless times over the years. Like, it's never gone out of rotation, especially with my kids. And I will forever give this movie a 10 out of 10. I think a lot of, Disney movies have not aged well.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of them have aged beautifully. I think this is the one that has probably aged the best out of all of them. It is wonderfully written. It's captivating. And I always think about how they remade it, the live action, which, shout out to Beyonce, but There was something about the animation and the capturing of the emotion with these animals, facial expressions and the music. And it's one of the best films I think that has ever been made. And I love it every time. I could watch it and still be 100% into it at the age of 34.
Mm.
But
that's powerful.
Watching it with the prompt of the notes I was taking, I was able to kind of look at it in a way that I hadn't as far as trying to, you know, figure out the moral of the story. And it really was like, okay, and having to look at what character, resonated with me. And I was like, okay, yeah, it is a beautiful film. It's always been a beautiful film, but now I can take a little bit more from it.
Well said.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get the same feel as well. I'm watching it today as I did years ago. No distractions is still something that I have to sit here and watch and, quoting the lines as I'm going through it. And it did, like the questions that we do have, it did kind of stick me a little bit because I'm like, okay, I do have to kind of peel a few layers back to try to see who do I, resonate with. Like it is difficult. But still a powerful, like you said, I really would consider this one of my favorite movies. I never thought about throwing the animation in like my favorites, but it really is top notch. It's really up there. It's really dang near unmatched, untouchable. Yeah, just the movie is amazing, and you can tell me to watch it every day. I could do that. You know me, bro. So
yeah.
If I like a movie like Love and Basketball, I know that's my favorite movie. Bro was sick of me. So like, dude, because just a sidebar, I'll watch it, and if I pause it, we had to go somewhere or something. I come back to the house, being it started all the way over. Bro's like, dude, you've seen it 10,000 times. Why are you starting over? I said, because I have to.
I thought something was wrong. I really thought something was wrong with you. Like, are you serious? I remember you watched the whole movie through. Let it marinate, went, made you something to eat, chill, we chopped it up, whatever, It's like, I'm about to go back in the room. What you be? I'm about to watch it. I better watch it again. I said, something is wrong with my sister. So, like, I legit thought something was wrong with you because that did this. Bro, that's what, leave it alone, you stupid dog. Like in my head, I was like, something's wrong with my sister because it's like she never seen it. She was just geared up, ready, tucked in the covers, back at it. Like it. I could not fathom this. That's how
invested I get, though. I'm invested. I'm a Cancer. Like I'm just all in the feels. But just the emotional tie to the movie, back to Lion King, and seeing the water come out of their eyes when it's just everything is just on all cylinders. So yeah.
For me, man, this time around, man, again, what I'll speak to more in our pivotal moments. I don't know if y'all go through this, and Ash, I've spoke to her before about it, but like, I'm just becoming hella sensitive. And I think it's because I got kids. It's just stuff just resonates so different. And I'm getting mad at myself because I'm like I'm getting teary-eyed. I'm like, bro, what is wrong with me? I'm not about to cry about this movie. Like, I'm seriously like, bro, I know how it goes. I know what's happening. It's all right. I know it's going to work out, but I'm getting emotional. And I'm like, why is this happening? And I find myself doing that more and more with films. When we talk about Lion King, for me, I look at the colors, the imagery, the message, the music. It's a perfect animation of a movie. The spiritual undertone of the movie is beautiful. And just the way they drew the lions. They actually made the lions to be nice looking, which is why people had such a gripe with the newer depiction of it, because it's like they're not cute. Like we didn't come here. We want them to be cute, just like they had the issue with Sonic. Like, because you look at Nala, you look at Simba, you're like, oh, these are cute lions. They got the lashes. They got the lashes, like they are adorable. Like, and I was like, that takes real skill to say, how can we make them we want to stay committed to the real way lions look, but create this. And they like, animators really got to go through steps to find a way to do that. Like I watched I don't know if it was games we grew up on or it was one of these shows where they were talking about different games and the video game wars, and they were talking about how they created the Sonic character. They were going through different animals, and then when they created Sonic, they wanted to do a hedgehog, but they wanted to figure out how to make him cool. They wanted to figure out how to make him nice on the eyes. Like, they really go through these things to figure out how it can be appealing. So the fact that I looked at Lion King and how appealing they gave this human resignation in their looks that I just thought was amazing. Like, I know that's like I'm harping on that a little bit, but it really takes that. It's palatable. In other words, it's very palatable for us when we were kids watching. It was very easy on the eyes, and then they took that formula, continued on. When you get to the Beauty and the Beast, you look at a beast like that, and you see, you still like, man, I mean, he really ain't ugly like y'all trying to paint him, you know. You know, I just, so many different things that they touched on and tapped into, and watching it this time, I haven't watched it in a while, and I tend to preserve like the fire top tier movies. Like, I tend to preserve it. But this is a great podcasting platform to be able to now open that vault, as Mia said, and get into it. So without further ado, let's get into the pivotal moments. These are moments that you felt were strong to the plot line, some of the moments you may have enjoyed, and also just moments that you may think of when you think about the movie The Lion King. So we'll go in the order in which we're named. So we'll go Ash, Mia, and Mo. So Ash, what's the first pivotal moment that you got?
Okay, so we're going one by one, right? Like, what are moments?
Yeah, if we got the same thing, obviously we'll just jump in and discuss together.
Okay. Quite a few pivotal moments. But I'll start with the pep talk that Mufasa gave to Simba when he woke him up, and he was so excited, Dad, Dad, you know, and he's showing him the Pride Lands and everything, and just kind of prepping him to let him know, like, hey, you're going to rule this area one day, and really kind of that the pep talk between the father and son. Again, it's so powerful to me, because just to correlate it into like adulthood, I think how important it is to have a man in a child's life, specifically a son, for sure. Like, just having that talk, letting him know the things that he needs to know. That was a pivotal moment for me, but even more so the moment that he talked to him after he almost lost him. Like, about being brave, and he's only brave when he has to be. That was so deep to me. Like, you don't go looking for trouble. Like, that was so pivotal to me. I'm like, I feel it in my bones. Like, that talk to me. That was a pivotal moment. Like, he breaking down what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go looking for trouble, but if it's it's brought to you, you got to handle it. But there's more things at stake. So that was a pivotal moment. The talks between Mufasa and Simba.
I'm probably before that, but I'm gonna throw the ball in your court, Mia, because maybe we have the same thing. But
so I have to go back as well. I have to go back to the very opening scene.
Okay. Yep.
Very opening. Woo. Okay. So from the movie to the music, like the Broadway, I moved to tears. Like, that very opening scene where you see the sun rising and you see the bird, don't get me started on lying about what kind of bird it was, flying across the horizon, and then you just start seeing all the animals like slowly filing in across this, the screen, and then you hear the music, and they're speaking in, I believe it's Swahili. And of course, me being the obsessive fan that I am, like, I had to look it up and see, what are they saying? Because people just screaming, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. We don't. Yeah.
You know how we do.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is, okay, I know this is not going to be completely accurate because I don't, I don't speak it. It's not my language, but it's something along the lines of Nanzingonya Babagiti Baba. And I believe it's translated to look a lion, like something about, the lions coming. And so but just hearing it will evoke a an emotional response just because of the way that the singer is singing it. It's the same way when you see it's even better when you see it live because you have these South African performers who are singing it and they just it just gives you chills. But the lyrics to the song, like when you really pay attention to what it's saying, it's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to the presentation of Simba with Rafiki and his one of my favorite characters of all time in any animated film. And he's like a kind of like a shaman or
a prophet or
like
yeah.
he's spiritually like he can consort with the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so he presents Simba, all the animals go crazy, like, and it's just so powerful. And then the way it just fades to black with that doom, and then you see the Lion King. And it's just like the way that's how you open a film.
Bruh.
That's going to resonate with kids, adults. That's timeless. It's completely timeless.
Yeah, them doing that, like, listen to me. Y'all doing that, y'all showing off, bruh. The audacity to make that the cold open. Y'all didn't come in leading the credit Lion King. We just gonna let it roll. No, y'all did all that first and then hit us with the title screen. Boom, black and red, Lion King. Y'all showing off, bruh. Like when I seen that, I said, yo, every time I see, and then it's like, imagine the theater sound of that. Doom, like how epic it is. Like, but everything you said, like that birth, the celebration of Simba, like I love the animal structure of the Pride Land and the understanding of this is how it works. I mean, we'll get to later kind of I think it might have been somewhere in one of those talks between Mufasa and Simba where you talk about like who they eat and the food chain and everything, but there's an understanding even then. But like this part, like him holding them up and then like I did this with my son. I probably did it with my daughter too. If it's just been 10 years, so I can't remember. But like, I literally, because of this movie, I literally held my son up like that because the movie made me feel like that's the way you do it. When you have the child and you have the strength at some point to do it, hold them up like that. And this movie, man, bruh, the song, the music, I mean, it was so beautiful and like just the way I'll talk more about the music because I don't want to step on nothing, but like, man, that whole thing, and then just what that Pride Rock represented, like that little open mouth looking stones place that what it represented, like that was a pivotal piece in the film. So yeah, I'm trying to remember. So we go to our next pivotal moment, but I'm trying to line it up in the sequence of things. So I'll say this and then we'll find out where we are. So mine's will be that Scar missed the ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you had next, Hash?
Yeah.
Zazu and all that? Okay.
Zazu.
Okay.
And,
mm-hmm. All right. You got anything before that, Mia?
No.
Okay. All right, Ash. So.
Yeah, so I think that's a pivotal moment. Zazu goes over to Scar trying to figure out, why you didn't come, you know what I mean, to see your nephew. And I mean, he pretty much, the jealousy, you can see it, you smell it on him. So that's a pivotal moment. Not a favorite, but a pivotal moment, obviously, kind of letting you get to know Scar and see how he feels about his brother and even his nephew. So and Zazu, shout out to him because he be keeping it a buck. But I like Zazu a lot. And then of course Mufasa comes in like, yo, you wasn't there. This gonna be your future king. So yeah, I just think that was a good moment. Again, it was you saw how the brothers' dynamic was in that moment, which wasn't great. Obviously a lot of jealousy coming from Scar's side. So yeah, I think that was a good pivotal moment. And then I like that line that Scar said. I don't know it word for word, but he was like, when Mufasa was like, "Is that a challenge?" He was like, "Oh no, I would never challenge you," or something. But he was like, when it comes to muscle and
brawn,
And Brent, I'm on the shallow end of the deep. What do you say?
Yeah, so like he's on the shallow end because he's the brains, but
the gene pool. Yeah, I like how he said
and
that.
he walked off on it like he called him kind of dumb on
off.
he called him dumb on the slip, like.
Yeah, so I was like, this nigga.
Yeah,
but I just like how he said it though.
I did too.
So yeah, that was a good moment. Yeah. On the shallow end of the gene pool.
What was you say, Bia?
This is why don't kill me. Scar is probably my favorite villain of all time.
I got a lot to say about him.
I got a lot to say about Scar as well.
Scar is a baddie, but go ahead.
Well, we can have a little bit of that conversation. We'll get more into like how disrespectful he is, but in this scene, yeah, like I have the same thing, of course. I will say this, and we're not tying into any whatever's out there as far as new Lion King releasing. And now we in the 90s. Y'all in 2024. We in the 90s. So I don't know nothing about what's going on. I still have a brick phone, even though I'm on Zoom right now. But yeah, I got the same thing. Just Scar, and again, I'm not shooting no bell for Scar because he goes way too far when we get later in the pivotal moments. But the idea that. Okay. And Scar's the older brother, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So to know that like, okay, Mufasa's king, I'm not, for whatever reason I was passed over. And then to say like, okay, well, if something happens to Mufasa, I should be king. But to say, oh, no, y'all skipping past me completely and y'all going to his son. You got to understand, I do understand a little bit of the best villains are the villains that you can understand where they're coming from. And I did understand where Scar was coming from. That's why I didn't come to say, what you want me to celebrate for? Like, what you want me to be happy for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though Simba didn't deserve that from him, and Simba adored his Uncle Scar because that's what kids do. But I understood his issues. I will say that. I definitely understood where he was coming from. And again, I talk about, kind of spiritual. It definitely feels a little like a biblical reference to Jacob and Esau a little bit to me, and how vastly different they looked, and then like kind of giving up the birthright, and it kind of feels a little bit like that a little bit to me. But that's a little bit of a hot take there. But yeah, so I got that as my next pivotal moment as well. What do you have, Mia?
Okay, so going past that, I had the moment where Nala and Simba go to the elephant graveyard. And we're introduced to the hyenas for the first time. And so, of course, in that moment, after Simba and Mufasa's first tour of, the Pride Lands, he goes to see his uncle. And he's like, hey, my dad says I'm going to be king and I'm going to rule everything. What does that make you?
Oh man, and not kids. Oh man, kids. The whole time. Ooh, kids can get you hot for real. Kids get you hot because they be honest. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mia. Sorry, just that was real.
Like, Simba in his naive, childhood innocence, not knowing that he's really tap dancing on his uncle's last nerve because he wants to be king. He's like, when I'm king, what'll that make you? And it's like, okay, yeah, so how about you go to this elephant graveyard and see what's up over there? Oh, don't go. Only the bravest lions go there. Of course, he goes and gets his bestie, his homegirl Nala, and he and Nala and Zazu, they shake Zazu and they go into the elephant graveyard, and you see that in childhood. And we'll get into it later, probably when we get to adult Simba. In childhood, Simba is very prideful. He's very, a little arrogant little boy who wants to be king. He wants to be like his dad. He wants to be the bravest. He wants to, challenge everything. He wants the power. And you see, in that moment, he wants to appear like he's not afraid of anything, which then leads to, the hyenas coming and him almost getting up out of there until Mufasa comes and saves the day. And which then leads into Ash's next, the one Simba and Mufasa had that heart-to-heart about bravery. But that scene is pivotal to me because it gives you a look into the childhood mentality of Simba and the things that he just wasn't quite aware of yet. He felt invincible. His dad was invincible. Nothing can happen to my dad. My dad is the strongest lion out here. You're always going to be there to protect me. And I'm going to be big and strong like you one day. And how, then the fate of Mufasa kind of changed his whole outlook on himself and life and, his place in the world.
Yeah. I have that too. I got something right before. Do you have that, Ash, as well? The elephant grave yard or whatever?
No, I didn't have that one. I have something before as well.
Okay. Well, what you got before? Because we may have the same thing. That I got that morning conversation that they had. That may be. I think maybe that was what you had said, but
when he was like waking him up, excited.
Yeah, that I call it the morning meditation.
Okay, I'm right after because I'm on the part where he's with Nyla. He's excited to. Well, it's kind of tied with me as
Going
well.
Right into that,
he can't wait to be king. So that scene where he's like change the animals to color and like he's singing and.
Okay.
So I don't know where that falls between all three of us.
That's right before. I'll let you go. I'm just gonna say this because I only had one thing to add for the morning meditation conversation between Simba and Mufasa. Just a foreshadowing line. I don't know if this was intentional, but it was really good. The line that was spoken of was a king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun, and literally he rose to the mountain and fell. Just like crazy bar right there. I'm like, oh man, that is man, good writing. You know what I mean? So that's what I have. But I'll let you get into it, and I got some stuff to add to what Mia said as far as the elephant graveyard.
Yeah, not too much. I just love how excited he was to be king, and like Mia said, how naive he was. This just portrays the innocence of a child. Like. The goal is to be king, right? And like you said, you hold your father to the standard that he's invincible. Nothing can happen to him. And like, I too will soon be a king. And so just how excited he is to just go through this journey and just working on his roar, all type of, he's not aware of how life really works. And it's just, those are pivotal moments when you have a child that you try to cherish their innocence and, everything they see is gold and glitter, And then, of course, when they get older, they find out that that's not the case. But you want to keep them in that space as long as you can. And so now that I am a parent, that does resonate with me. Like, man, he was so happy, just singing and birds chirping. He's just having fun, playing jokes on Zazu, hanging with his friend Nyla. Like, just the innocence and the happiness and the joy in that scene. So that was a pivotal moment to me.
Yeah, no, it is. I love that. That is literally us as kids, just the excitement of what the world could be. As a kid, it's crazy because we're here and it's like, oh, this is what it is. But the idea of what we thought it could be was, that's kind of the joy, right? Is the not knowing, just the idea, how you create the imagination of it all, and he doesn't know, like, oh, being king, there's real tough moments, obviously. When he talks to his father, he gets that. But for me, going back to the elephant grave site, I do think early Simba shows so much heart, I would say. Of course he's trying to be like his daddy, studying like my daddy, like he try to do the same thing. But I think that he got his lick off on he got his lick off like Big Mike, you know what I'm saying, on Stacy. So, took it like a G, and Scar and just the way he went back for Zazu. He went back for Nala. So those are traces like, no, it's in Simba. He ain't quite there yet. He ain't had enough life experience to get to that point. But like, he did show heart, even though he was scared, because he should be. He's a kid. But I thought it showed heart. And then we just see Scar at the end. And we see him like way up there, like, panning down, just trying to make sure the job is done. Shout out to Kobe Bryant. Job done? Job finished? So, yeah, that's what I got. What you got next, Mia? What's your next pivotal moment?
Okay. So after that, I have the stampede and Mufasa, being killed.
Mm. Yep. That's
So, Scar, man, listen, talk about ruthless.
Oh man.
You tell this child, this cub, I have a surprise for you. I'm gonna have a surprise for you and your daddy. Ooh, put a pin in that. Put a
Mm.
pin in that because I have to go back one. And I don't know if one of you may have had the scene before this. And I don't know how it skipped over my mind because it's one of my it's one of my favorite songs. We haven't gotten to that part yet. But um the hyenas and Scar unveiling his plan to kill Mufasa in the first place. So I feel like that's a pivotal scene because again, why Scar is one of my favorite villains is nobody really took Scar seriously.
Right.
Scar was the underdog and he was kind of just an outlier, but his mind was working. He had a plan and nobody was like they were none the wiser. Like nobody suspected that he would do what he did and the way that he planned it out, executed it, it got it off was just wild. Like you kind of got to respect it.
Sheesh.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's.
Man.
What are you there too, Ash? As a pivotal moment? Because I definitely,
He's
I
talking
think.
about where the prep or the.
Let me see. I guess the whole thing, like that whole layout, because there's a few things that are in that, but like that whole layout of the stampede and the loss of Mufasa.
Yeah,
That,
I'm definitely at the stampede for sure.
you got anything before that?
Nope.
Okay,
Hold on, let me double check. No.
Okay, go for it. What you feeling?
Yeah, the stampede is probably the most pivotal moment for me. Um, of course, one of the saddest moments. But yeah, I gotta keep it a bean, man. Shout out to Scar because the way that he executed this is crazy. Like
Bruh.
the way he orchestrated this was insane to me. And like she said, he was the underdog. He was slept on. Nobody thought he could get it done. Like he had his first attempt, try to get his nephew out of there. That didn't work. But it's like the way that he played on the innocence of Simba. And he knows Mufasa. He's gonna do anything to protect his son. He knows this. All I gotta do, you know what I mean? Send a little nigga down. And then his dad gonna come. Yeah, the way that he set it up though is just this pivotal moment. I mean, you gotta give it to him. Like she said, it's ruthless. It became deadly.
Oh
but
man.
but that nigga Scar. Yeah.
Listen, did you want to piggyback on that?
Oh, I thought you was about to get into. I'm in. I'm
Okay.
in the scene, but I thought you seemed like you was ready, so I'm chiming after you.
Okay, so just when you see the stampede scene, I'm gonna put Simba in danger, have Mufasa come out here to save him, and I'm gonna kill him. But the the heart-wrenching sight of Mufasa climbing up that cliff and pleading to Scar. And so in that moment, you see Mufasa feels like, that's my brother. He be tripping, but it's all love. Like, yeah, we're still brothers. Like,
Right.
unbeknownst to him, he wants you dead. Like, he don't care nothing about you being his brother. He don't care about you. He don't care about your son. He wants to be king.
Man, nigga.
Okay. He wants y'all out of here. And that long live the king and just throwing him off of that cliff. my little adolescent heart just couldn't take it.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the first time I ever cried in a film that I can remember. Like, that was heartbreaking. And I think it's also because we've seen a lot of Disney movies where one or both parents is gone, but you don't see it. You kind of
exactly
see them in that world where, you know, they only have one parent or they have a step parent or whatever. But that was kind of a way of giving kids a way to grapple with the idea of mortality and death. Like, and this is, you know, a part of the circle of life.
Deep. Yeah, that man. So this is what got me start tear jerking. This scene, it got me. You know, when you're a child, you're getting it, but you're not understanding fully or processing that loss will happen. You know, you're not processing. When you get older and you start to become not a grown up like us, you start to really recognize when you've lost an aunt, a grandmother, a great aunt, a cousin. When it starts hitting home, you realize how real mortality is, and people really got to go. And I think that is what started making me more sensitive, where watching this and seeing it's like, okay, let's get it out the way. Scar was brilliant. He did a two double plan. Only him with his brains could do that. Oh, I'm gonna get the father and the son up out of here. Word, the groundhog said, hey, the stampede's coming. That was a nugget that they put in earlier in the movie, and then he knew that the time was coming. So then the way he played it, he said, oh, Simba, you got to get to Simba. He's down there where the stampede is. And Simba's thinking it's on him because he roared, but the stampede was coming regardless. So he's playing chess when Mufasa's playing checkers. You go out there, that's gonna kill them. But even if they're gonna kill his son, and then when he tries to get up, I'm gonna get him out of here. But even if he maybe it'll kill both of them. But if it don't, I'm still gonna be. That's why he's crawling on the legs and he's watching where he's gonna go. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get him. And so he finally gets him. He hits him with the long live the king and throws him, brother. Like, bruh. Again, another kind of biblical touch. It's got a little bit of a Judas type of feel, you know. But man, throwing him off like that, and then Simba coming and like, that's what got me. When Simba came over there and he's like, Dad, come on. Like, this is his hero, bro. Like, if we're fortunate enough to have not lost our parents and still have them around, it's like, bro, no matter kind of what the relationship is, to some degree, in our childish mind, they're invincible still. Because you raised me, I turned out okay, and you're still here. And now I'm raising my own child. So you're kind of invincible. Like, you're still around. And the fact that, like, that's it hit me so hard, bro. I was at work watching this and I was trying to keep it together. I literally, you know, when you feel the tears coming, you got to look up. Like, you try to, like, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm trying to keep, because I'm like, it hit me so hard, because the reality of the situation is we're going to have to go through the same thing Simba had to go through. You know, as brutal as that was, he didn't necessarily witness that. And then even, like, I'll speak to a little more about Mufasa, but like, Mufasa is like, bro, I don't care what's going on. Nigga, that's my child. I don't care how many of them running through for a stampede. That's my kid. Like, bruh, that hit different as a grown-up watching this. Like, he's like that. And like, he's hanging on the legs and he running out of time, and I got to get to him. You're like, Dad. He's like, man, bumped. I got to get my cub. And I respected it to the 100th degree when I watched it this time. I was like, man, listen, nigga.
By any means.
And by any means, you know, we're parents, so we know what time it is. When it's like, hey, listen to me. Mm-hmm. I don't care what I got to do. It like John Q. Nah, he's burying me. Like,
right.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. That's not how it's going. Like, so, sorry, I get a little passionate sometimes, y'all, but that really resonate, and it taught us so much as kids of how to deal with our emotions. We don't get that as much these days with these kids. We find other outlets, but the reality is we learned a lot about coping through films like this. Not necessarily understanding, but just understanding that whatever this feeling that we're feeling as little kids, we will be okay it could be hard, but we'll be okay. And that's where Lion King is at its greatest, is moments like these. So that's also my pivotal moment. And then lastly, and then just say, all right, man, we'll leave and never come back. Giving them giving them 10 seconds. Kill him. I was like, oh my, this nigga crazy. Like, bruh.
That dude is
Scar is a ruthless villain, bruh. This is my nephew. Oh yeah, his father did. All right, cool. Kill him. Like, man.
He don't want no traces of nothing coming back to him.
Nah.
Yeah. But that was the moment that got me too. It was that obviously your brother, bro, he don't care. You're not his brother.
You're not his brother.
You a nigga in the way for me being king. That's all he see. And so you got to get out of here. But when Simba found him, like you said, just the thought of finding your parent in that way, I can't even fathom. Man, so bro. It's just like, help anybody, man. Somebody. Oh my God. Bro, I'm out of there.
Listen.
And he just laid there with him, laid under his arm. Like,
my goodness.
Man, listen.
Come on. Why would y'all do this?
Why would? Hey, real quick question. It may have been a while since. Y'all know what I'm going. Land Before Time. Yeah, I know they always talk about, if you ain't seen it in a while, 90s Instagram page, they always talk about like, why did they do this to us? You know, Littlefoot losing his mom, the dinosaur, and you know, it's up there. But I'll wait until maybe that'll be a movie review at some point, and we'll revisit the conversation. I won't put that on you now because of recent bias, but it's definitely like, this will be an interesting neck and neck as far as how difficult it was to process these losses. But yeah. Oh man, I ain't lost track of where we was at. Sorry, I ain't got all the way engulfed in this scene. Like, all right, let me come out of it. All right. So Ash, what's your next pivotal, and see what we lined up here in this?
I'm pretty far down, but I mean, there's some before mine. So
okay, all right, Mia, what you got?
Yeah, y'all can.
I had the introduction of Timon and Pumbaa, and seeing Simba grow from a cub into a full-grown adult lion in that time lapse, and then seeing where he was, you know, from being a cub to now being, you know, a lion, and you see what happened to him, and then the introduction of these new characters kind of changed his trajectory and like his outlook on everything. Timon and Pumbaa, again, two of my favorite characters, in, you know, animated film. And just to see how, when they found him, he was just so sad. He was sad, depressed, downtrodden. He didn't have anybody. He's like, I can't go back home. I've been not banished because no one knows, you know, where I am. That he thinks it's his fault that his father died. So he's like, you know, Scar put it in his head that you killed him. It's your fault. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for you. So now he came across these two characters, little Warthog and Meerkat, who kind of teach him, listen, Hakuna Matata, you know?
I mean, you know, what a wonderful phrase.
Look, you could come in here and we live in like this. Yeah. We got waterfalls. We got flowers.
We got slimy or crunchy. You know what I mean? We got good eats.
Yeah, we listen. So
you about to just live off the land and just chill.
Live off the land. We off the grid. You know what I'm saying?
Chilling.
I got something right before that. It's a small one, but I'm gonna jump right into where she is. It's just that was just a scene where you see the Pride land, the Pride Rock specifically. You get more of a Dark Knight shot, and it's the opposite of when Mufasa was leading and how, you know, bright it was. So that was just a little small like nod, but for me as well, Timon and Pumbaa, man, you talk about needing comic relief. Just what we witnessed. We witnessed murder as kids. Let's just get out the way. We witnessed murdering. This is murder. It's sure it's an animation, but he murdered his brother brother. Like we witnessed murder as kids. I don't care. There was no bloodshed. I get it. It was cute. It was beautiful. We're okay with to handle it, but it was
nigga
murder.
died.
The nigga died. Like that's what happened. And so Timon and Pumbaa, like, I mean, of course, from a storyline standpoint, work, but just from a comic relief, we needed that. And man, did it help us, like, to be able to wipe tears, as kids. And just a little memory. I don't know, Ash, if you remember this, but again, loving this movie so much. Mm-hmm. When they ate the bugs, you remember they just be like, oh, this the one with the green filling, and this and that, and the slimy yet satisfying. So we was kids. You remember we used to eat noodles, and I used to say this all the time. Like I would act like noodles was bugs. Like I
remember that.
I used to be like, slimy yet satisfying.
We say slimy or crunchy.
Yeah, slimy or crunchy. We was like, all right, slimy. But like, come on, like they was milling. Like they made it look all right as a kid.
They did it. Like, I want crunchy. Like I'm like, based on the options we got here, I think I would go with crunchy.
I'm going with crunchy.
Go with the ladybug out here.
Oh, but just I just wanted to not go with the ladybug. But I got to jump out there. Hakuna Matata, a true mental health mantra. I feel like that is like that for me. Like again, that ain't probably what it served necessarily, but when we look at it from these lenses in the year that we're in, Hakuna Matata, like that really is like a mental health type of thing. It's like a palate cleanser for the brain. Like it's literally minimalistic. Like here's what we're doing. And that is the type of mentality that I am constantly striving and carrying, just simplicity. And me and Ash talked earlier about Jungle Book. And there's a song on there. I feel like that's the original Hakuna Matata, which is the yep, that's it. Yep. That song. Isn't that bare necessities? Like that whole thing. I think it's the original version kind of this, that walk so this can run. So Hakuna Matata, man, just true mental health song, man. If y'all ain't heard it in a while, go play that. It's on YouTube, man. It's a good palate cleanser for you. So yeah. How far down are you, Ash?
Before I touch on the Hakuna Matata, that is a pivotal moment as well. Just a time that was needed, like you said, after his father died, and just coming to these guys, they don't even know you, and they're like, wait a minute, a lion? We could use him, you know what I mean, as protection, not even knowing he's fragile, you know what I'm saying, but they knew he would eventually grow into a lion, and they could mold him. And shout out to Timon, because that's one of my favorites. He is a real one. He's sarcastic, witty, and he was like, well, what's going on? I don't want to talk about it. Great, because we don't want to hear about it. Like, I'm like, this nigga, that is so funny to me, but it worked. I loved it. I'm like, he really just said
he's a great character. You're right. Like,
you don't even know, dude. My dad just died. I think I'm the one that did it.
Bro.
But yeah, shout out to them. And just to touch on everything that y'all said. That was Hakuna Matata. Like, life is okay the way it is, like something happened in the past, you've moved on from it, and you got to try to pick yourself back up. So yeah.
Okay. What do you have next, Mia, to just see? Because I know
I have the scene where Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba are kind of like looking up at the stars and goes into, what do you think though? Like, they're fireflies. And then, of course, Pumbaa has the exact right answer, but nobody's listening to what Pumbaa does.
Right.
I thought they were balls of gas burning millions of miles away. Yeah, but no. And then,
right.
So Simba, he doesn't really want to say because it's bringing up that memory for him. And he says, someone told me that the kings of the past watch over us. And then, of course, they just are getting weak at him. They just laugh.
Oh, man, bro.
And it was so heartbreaking because that he's thinking about his father. And he's hoping that his father is up there looking over him. And Timon and Pumbaa don't really understand. They don't know. But you see him kind of reliving this trauma and this pain of really realizing like, wow, I'm grown now, but I've really left behind all of this, like my father is gone. And all I have left are the memories of what he taught me. And I'm holding that very dear. I don't even want to talk about it. And it's painful because he's really going through that alone. He hasn't shared, any of his past with Timon and Pumbaa. He's really still repressing and kind of going through that internally. You kind of see him retreat into himself, which then, you know.
This is right before Nala pulls up, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I got okay, I think I'm like a little bit after, but I will say the thing that I did think about with that moment is how much Black Panther felt like this moment. That Black Panther, the movie, I seen this, I said, oh man, I don't know. What you say?
There are a lot of parallels in The Lion and Black Panther.
Oh, absolutely. Like that was one of those moments like when he took the orb and like, that moment with his father, well, at least probably later on when you actually see Mufasa in the stars, but like, yeah, that part more so than this part, but still it's just, I don't know. When you're talking about that part, I just felt Simba because we've all been in those situations where you'll be amongst friends and like everybody, it's a joke to everybody else but you. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, you really don't understand the severity of how deep this is. And everybody's like, man, bro, chill out, bro. It ain't that deep. And they're doing all this, and you're the only one like, yeah. The way they even portrayed it, I've been there. I'm that person a lot of times where I'm the only person like, okay, I'm the only person in the room that sees more here than, everybody else is just laughing about it and joking and moving on. So, yeah, that I'll just chime into that. My next scene is when Rafiki comes back into the fold, but I want to check and see if Ash, do you have anything before that?
When Nyla pulls it up. So is that before?
Yeah, that's before.
Yours is before?
Yep. No, yours is before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so when Nyla, pulls up, he's so happy to see her. And again, she was thinking he was dead. And so that was a pivotal moment to me. She pretty much just trying to get him back to the crib, like letting him know like what's going on. Scar's out there wilding. We not even eating. It's in shambles over there. So, just her, that was a pivotal moment. This is a friend he grew up with, trying to give him a kick in the ass and kind of like, and again, he's like, you don't know what I've been through, because again, he hasn't shared it with anyone. He's holding these emotions in. This is something that men do sometimes, so now he's a grown man now. Just to tie it back into, humanity, like still suppressing those feelings, not feeling so vulnerable to be able to share that with someone. But if anybody, he could share. I feel like he could have shared it with her. But yeah, that was a pivotal moment. Like, hey, letting him know what's going on, and you could tell he cared because his reactions as she was telling him. But he didn't feel strong enough to be able to go back and face everybody because again, in his mind, he still is the one that got his father killed. But I just love the fact that he did care what was going on. He wasn't so removed from, the Pride Lands because he has this good life with Timon and Pumbaa, and that's what he knows now as he's grown up. But he still cares about what's going on at the crib, Not enough to do something about it just yet, but we getting there. So yeah.
Do you got anything between that before Rafiki comes up, Mia?
No, I just wanted to say that scene has some of my favorite like moments when he says, "You're starting to sound like my father." She said, "Good, at least one of us does."
Yes.
Because he's like, your father was the epitome of like a king in strength, and you wanted so badly to follow in his footsteps, and you changed. Like, who are you? You don't have any sense of responsibility towards the Pride Lands or your birthright, and you've really just, skirted all of your responsibility and just completely left it all behind. Of course, she doesn't know And he's like, you don't know what I've been through. And she's like, I would if you told me. And he's like, but that to me was a big moment because it came after the whole, seeing them kind of fall in love, so to speak. And then it's kind of like, okay, that was cute, but let's get to the real. Like, we need you to come back.
Right.
Scar has shit is bad.
Yeah.
Right. Let the hyenas take over. There's no food. We're about to starve to death. But then no, I didn't have anything else between there and Rafiki showing back up.
Okay. I got so Rafiki helps Simba remember who he is. And we see Mufasa. And this is why I was alluding to as far as this feels like, well, Black Panther felt like this moment a bit. Just Rafiki showing him and like, okay, all right, bro, like stop playing with me. Okay, I see a reflection. I see who I am. All right, I get it. I look like my dad. You know what I mean? He ain't really buying it until, the stars coming in. He hears his father's voice. And I've always been curious, like, did Rafiki hear the voice too? I've always been curious about that. Like, it's just one of the subtle things. Like, did Rafiki hear the voice too? Because it seemed like he's been sarcastic, like, strong winds. He was like kind of downplaying like what's going on, but maybe he knew like Rafiki may have known from the sense of, oh, strong winds, there's a communication happening, but I don't hear anything. Versus Mufasa verbally heard something, which ties into like kind of a spiritual element. What was you gonna say, Mia?
I have always been under the assumption that Rafiki heard and spoke to Mufasa all the time, even after he passed away.
Okay.
Even in that moment when the wind blew and he was like, Simba's alive, which made him even go looking for him. And I feel like that's why I said he's kind of like a medium or
like an intercessor of.
Yeah, he speaks with the spirits, which is why he's the one who oversees all of this, these goings on. He's kind of like the godfather in a sense. And so I feel like he saw Mufasa. He knew how to get Simba to see Mufasa. He kind of was like like a guide to communication. But I feel like he even not even getting into like the sequel, but I feel like he is in constant communication with Mufasa.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yep, that's my scene. And I pretty much only got one last scene. So what about y'all?
Yeah, I got one more too.
Mia?
And it's at the end.
I think mine is just
we're at the end.
Simba returning to Pride Rock.
Okay, and the whole sequence of everything. Okay. All right, I throw the ball in your court first, Ash. So get into it. What about this scene is pivotal to you and it made your list?
It's just for mine is kind of probably a little further, but just him coming back and seeing the results of Scar being in charge. Again, his last fond memory was when he was a kid, and it was beautiful. Like you said, the colorism, the imagery that his father was holding it down. Everybody was fed. Everybody was everybody was good. So then him coming back, seeing how dark it was. I love the visuals towards the end. How it really showed the shift in leadership. So how dark it was with Scar being in charge, and like even the fighting scene with the fire, and like it was so cold, dude.
Cold, bro.
So cold. And how was that fight was needed? Boy, I gotta put hands on you. You hear me? Like you killed my daddy.
Then I walk in and you slapping my mom?
Nigga.
Exactly. What you talking about? What is her name? Sarabi? Hey man. I got hands for a hope. I'm just saying, shout out to Glow, but no, like for real, like it's time, and you're still lying. Like again, he's still not knowing that he's not at fault, Simba. So like it took all the way to the end for him to know like this was not your fault. So that scene is one of my favorites, and I feel one of the most pivotals as well. It was fire to just the scene, what I mean, the scrapping, like the hitting back and forth. Everything was just hitting on all cylinders, and I'm like, and my nigga won. So yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So yeah.
What about you, Mia? What you want to add to that?
So this again, like from start to finish, from the time that he leaves to go back to Pride Rock, that whole sequence is just so well done. I don't know, like the writing on this film is so good. The dialogue is perfection. Like even from Nala and Rafiki saying the king has returned, and they're like, "Who's the monkey?" And he's like, "Oh, he went." Like that whole sequence was so funny, and she had to break it down. Like, no, Simba's going back to challenge his uncle to take his place as king. Like, oh, and then some of my favorite lines come when Nala and Timon and Pumbaa finally meet Simba at the Pride Lands, and Timon is like, "We gonna fight your uncle for this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's my home." He's like, "Talk about your fixer-upper." And like I say that all the time. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's fire. Come
Simone,
on.
I'm telling you,
Come
man.
on, yeah. Yeah, man.
And can we just get into like we can get into this after, but I just have to talk about the casting in this movie. The casting is crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many icons and legends doing the voice acting for this movie. Like Nathan Lane as Timon is crazy. That voice is just iconic.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so that and him finally getting to confront Scar and step into, his greatness. It was like, I, I I got to see,
You know
I
what I'm
got to
saying?
see
Huh?
my dad.
You know?
Got to speak, my dad came from the heavens and spoke life back into me,
You
and I'm here.
heard?
Like
Yeah.
you can't hold me back no more, Scar. I don't care about your lies. I don't care what you're talking about. And Scar, the baddie, finally got his comeuppance because all those lies caught up to you. The hyenas are the enemy. Oh, we're what? We're the enemy.
Because they've been starving. Like, hold up, bro. We've been starving on your behalf because we believed in you, dog. Now you turn your back on us and we hungry? All right.
That's dinner time.
A dog got to eat, right?
Right.
Eat, nigga. The same thing, man. Simba pulling up, seeing how it was. I mean, and then literally seeing his mama get smacked by Scar was like, I even like, again, this is an animation, but as a grown man, I'm like, yo. Like, because this speaks to Scar's like idea of what he thought being king was. He just wanted the title.
Yeah.
Which is a sad thing, and there's a deeper message there. Obviously, like we're not caping for the villain. This is not what this pod is, but there's a deeper message there. He wants to be seen. Like that's overall like Scar's like mission low key is like I just want to be noticed and seen. Literally.
Why in that way though?
No, he didn't go about it the right way. But like literally, even then, even how he looks different. All of the lines are. I'm not trying to create a colorism here, but all the lines are light skinned and he's dark skinned. Like I'm just saying, like shouts out to Mia, but
again,
I'm not creating a colorism thing. I'm just creating like this kind of difference thing as far as Scar. Like he looks different from the rest of the lions, and he has this scratch on his eye, which literally got ties into the name. So you think about like who knows what the depth of that thing is, but it's like you want to be noticed. So even when you become king, you're not worried about actually leading. You don't care nothing about none of that. You just saying I'm in charge. He ain't trying to make people fed. All of the people were fleeing. Like nobody's staying here. They finding any and everywhere else to live but here. And he didn't care nothing about it. He just wanted to say I'm king and I do what I want to do. And we bringing hyenas over here. I got the goons. That's all he cared about. But I think it's just a deeper message as far as being noticed. But this sequence of like Simba pulls up and Simba didn't want to scrap his uncle. It's a damn shame. I got to fight my family. I don't want to fight my uncle, bro. But to find out, like literally Simba gets in the same position as his father and Scar feeling great about himself, telling him like, yo, I did it. Yeah, I killed him. I'm about to do the same thing to you. And then Simba get all the strength in the world, jumps back up off the cliff. Now, I ain't my daddy, nigga. Let me show you what's up. And then they get to scrapping. And, bruh, again, Lion King showing off. They hit us with a slow-mo. Why are y'all doing this in a kid animated, bruh? Shots out me. Look at me. Like why y'all are doing too much. We didn't. we didn't. I ain't gonna say we didn't deserve this, but like this is already fire. We're already excited. They hit us with the slow motion, the lions on their hind legs, hitting with the slow slaps and the fire, and even the animation looked different in just that sequence. Then not only that, but Nala goes say, "Hey, yo, we better go pull up. We better bring all the women. Like, hey, we don't care what it is. We scrapping." And then Timon and Pumbaa like, "Yo, we with it. Like, this my man's. I met him as a kid. He didn't grew up. He's my man's. Even if I got to dress up a certain kind of way and do the hula, and this is my man's." And we gonna look at yeah. So
even Rafiki with his stick pulled
and
up.
Rafiki had to get involved. Like, listen, we not going. No. And so, and then of course, like eventually, Scar gets, meets his end by getting ate up by the hungry hyenas. Because even Ed, the hyena Ed, how menacing that laugh was. Like he had all the goofy, kind of unaware laughter, but this was the laughter like, oh, I know what's going on, and I'm all the way ready. And I thought that was even that is like genius. Like, oh, he's laughing, but it's like a menacing laugh this time. Because so man,
stupid right now.
Yeah, I know exactly what's going on, and we getting to it, buddy. You are dinner tonight. Mm-hmm. So that's everybody's pivotal scenes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our character that you relate to and identify with the most in this film. Ash, who is that for you?
This was tough for me because I was like, dang. Because I didn't want to choose a woman by default. I really kind of wanted to go off the characteristics and my husband actually helped me with this one because I was like, dang, I don't know. This is so hard. Like, because I'm uniquely made. So I'm just trying to figure it out. But I would say Nyla because I felt like she was goofy, bubbly, but she didn't take no stuff. Like she called you out on your BS. And I feel like that's relating to me. I love hard, I care hard, but if something's not right, I'm gonna speak up on it. And it took me a while to get to this place where I'm at to be able to do that, but I do it if it's necessary. But other than that, I'm a lovable, I'm goofy, you know what I'm saying? I like to have a good time. So I think I resonated with her just because I love how she gave Simba that kick in the ass. Like, it's real life stuff going on out here. You know what I mean? Like, I know you and your feelings right now, but stuff still need to get done. And that's kind of how I am. You know what I mean? So yeah, I say Nyla, man.
I dig.
Yeah,
I dig. Oh, good one.
Shout out to the hubs.
Hey, shout out to my brother-in-law. My brother though. What about you, Mia? What's up?
Ooh, on the right day, it might be Timon and Pumbaa, but for the sake of and just like Ash, I was like, well, I didn't want to pick a female character by default. So I actually had to do some reflecting, and I would say Simba. In the sense that, a long time I spent kind of running from my greatness and kind of like tiptoeing around my purpose and needing a little bit of reminding, like, no, like you are capable of more. You're, better than, what you allow yourself to go after. No, go claim your shit. And so that's why I had to choose Simba. Sometimes we run from the greatness, the passions, the goal, and you need somebody to bring you back to that.
I like it. Me, Mufasa.
See that.
I always feel like, and it's not a good thing to say, but I just always feel this way. It's we don't know how old Mufasa was, but he obviously lived he lived a long enough life. We would like to have seen him like get into grandfather lion age, but that it wasn't his journey. But what he managed to get accomplished over the time, and it's just the way he went hard for his child. You know what I mean? Like he loved his wife. Clearly, he loved his son, and just like again, I can't say it enough. Seeing I don't care what I'm not even taking time to think about the setup. seeing my son on a tree limb during an like I literally had a moment where our daughter, we was at a barbecue or something, there was a playground, and there was this big old hill. And when kids are young, sometimes something in their mind click that makes zero sense. He was like, why would you do that after? So she just literally starts running down the hill, and there's still a driveway of cars that can come. There wasn't no car coming, but she was coming down the driveway. I literally got my Will Smith Bad Boys 1 on. I'm running shirt halfway open. Nigga, I'm running full speed. I grab her and I make sure she saved it. Of course, you get chastised after that. And so I when I see that scene, it's like, no, bro, I will do whatever I have to do. Like, understand, like, it can get real dark when it comes to my kids. Like that, just because, like, this world is scary, this world is challenging, and they deserve a chance. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want nothing to get in the way to them to get. Now, whatever they do with it, that's on them. But let me make sure, as long as I'm a part of it, give them a chance. Like, that's it. Everybody wants to influence and do all that. Give them a chance. And so I like what Mufasa did, even letting his son in on a vulnerable moment. Like, hey, I ain't never been, I was scared today. The thought of losing, I was scared today. And those are moments that we need as parents with our children. Sometimes let them in for a second and let them see, like, hey, look, I was scared. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes let them in sometimes. And so Mufasa for sure was like the character I identified with. I wish we had him longer, but we had him longer than I remembered. I always felt like it was like 10 minutes and he was gone, but it was a little longer than I remembered. So yeah.
Okay. Papa Bear.
Yeah. Ash.
Yes,
what's your favorite song of the movie? A lot of slaps on this one.
A lot of slaps. This was tough. A strong second, but I ended up going with Can't Wait to Be King. I don't know. It just that's the song that I sing along to the most. And ain't that Jason Weaver?
Shout out to Jason Weaver.
Yeah. Jason Weaver, cooking.
Legend.
Cooking up, man. He was just doing his thing, and I just thought it was sung beautifully, and I just was rocking with it. Like, it's just my favorite. Got a strong second, but I'll let y'all do y'all. I don't want to step on it if that's y'all favorite. But it was tough though. But yeah, I just like, and again, with the scene attached to the song, like everything was cohesive. Like, that song felt right for that scene where all the colors and so yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. The animals, you're right. That was it was shot well too.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Mia G, what you got?
Oh my God. So there are so many. So hard to pick just one. However, I have to go with Be Prepared. Because Star was just talking that cash. He was like, listen, such a baddie. The vocabulary.
Yeah.
He said, I know that your power of pretension is as wet as a warthog's backside. What?
So intelligent.
Bars
very intelligent. Like he said, I'm the brains. Like.
But yeah, and you can't help but to groove to when those hyenas start marching.
Oh yeah. There's a song I thought was on this one, but maybe it's the next one or somewhere else. But there was a song I thought, and I guess it's not this one, but like I was looking for it and I didn't see it. And it was like the Shazam with Sinbad.
What?
People that are listening, that if I would use that reference a lot, where people say, "Bro, I'm telling you, there's a genie movie with Sinbad in the '90s called Shazam." Like, people swear by this. But it's like Mandela effect. It doesn't exist. It's a skit he was a genie in, and people believe it's a real movie. Like, people like hit you with "I synced it." Like, they hit you with the emoji. Like, So anyway, but y'all know what I mean. For those that know what I'm saying, they're like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, that's funny. For me, it's Circle of Life, man. That opening, not the end version. It's a little different on the end, but that opening. I tried to I did like I asked to get in close second. We can talk close second or whatever, but I'll talk close second in a moment. But like that Circle of Life is just the build up and like how they even like they have it loud, then they have this calm part where they don't sing and it's like a flute is going. And they're just doing the whole reveal, like he's rubbing his head and is about to do the lift, and then they come back to the crescendo and they're like Circle of Life, like the whole sequence is perfect, and and all of the bowing down, like man, listen, like that song, it's like, and it's so spiritual, and there's the only song that I feel that connects in that like kind of spiritual, deep, heavy musicality is Pocahontas. Colors of the Wind. Like it's right there. Right there. Like these two songs are right next to each other. And there's probably a Hercules song in there, but I gotta go back and watch it.
Hercules.
Yeah, they did. Don't get me started. But
don't get me started, man.
But yeah, so for me, Circle of Life from the opening scene is the best song. Close second, what you got real briefly, Ash?
Just be prepared. Me and hit it on the nose. Okay. I hated that I like that song, but I got to keep it real. Be prepared. Like it was just everything. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Yeah, he had the whole.
Visual. Yeah, the music video was lit. You got a close second for you that was like.
I do. So of course, Circle of Life is, but I also had to put in there. Can you feel the love tonight? Because
that's mine too.
Without mentioning that.
Yep. Okay. That was my close second too. Like it almost, that song, it's crazy because I remember the song, but for whatever reason, Mandela effect in my mind, I'm thinking this song is from Aladdin. Because Aladdin, they have those love songs, right? Like, and so in my mind, I thought it was from Aladdin, but I'm like, oh, it's here. So anyway, yeah. Things that you can do without. Ash, you got anything that you could do without? If you don't, it's cool. If you do, by any means.
I don't think anything other than obvious. I could have done without Mufasa dying. Maybe he could have got an injury. You know what I mean? They could have broke a paw or something where he couldn't lead, and then the son had to step up.
Okay.
But then we wouldn't have Lion King as it is. But
that's true.
My boy, he didn't have to die, or maybe he could have been in there a little longer. But the way that Scar set the play up, it just had to go that way.
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of anything else other than that.
That's pretty good, actually. I didn't think about that. That's a different way to look at it.
Right. You know what I mean? Put my boy on injury reserve and, and let Simba step up.
Let him sit out a few games. Put him out for the rest of the season.
48 minutes. Okay, baby.
What about you, Mia?
10 out of 10. Nothing. I have no note.
Okay. For me, it's a nitpick, but it was something like, Rafiki opening the fruit and putting it in the bowl, and then in the bowl, all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, Simba's alive." Like, I didn't like it. I think Mia made a great point, so it's not as bad now that I think about it, because the point she made as far as him being like an intercessor between this realm and the ancestor realm. But like at the moment, it was just like it wasn't sold enough for me. Like him just opening, like, "What? Simba's alive?" It was like, we could have got a different way of being presented that, and it just felt like super random. You sitting there opening up fruit. I don't know. It just felt like, It was a small scene, but I was like, I could have did without that. All right, and here we go. Ash, more of the story. In your opinion, what's the takeaway at being a childish grown-up that you are? What is your takeaway for you as the moral of this movie?
This was tough too. I think the circle of life is the biggest part. We do live, but we do lose loved ones as well, and we have to try to find our way, how to navigate in the world without them. So I think that's a big piece of it, and then just forgiving ourselves for our past, learning from our mistakes, and just trying to grow in every way that we can. So I think just forgiving ourselves and moving forward, knowing that there are going to be trials and tribulations in life, and you have to figure out a way to overcome them. Whether it takes a village, you need some friends, or obviously you have children and whatever. Like, you just need that push sometimes, and just to overcome things that you may go through. So that was the moral for me. Just keep pushing forward.
All right, Mia, what about you?
So I had don't let your past define you, and don't be afraid to step into your greatness, like I was saying before. Um, yeah, that's really, don't be afraid, like Ash said, of your past. Don't let things that happened define your future.
Mm. Okay. For me, it's that your life has purpose and a mission, and you may not want to do those things sometimes, but you are the only one qualified to get the job done. So embrace it. You may learn to love it. That was Simba's story. It's like I don't want to be king now. I did this. I believed I've done this thing. All right, y'all figured it out now. I'm sorry, but at some point, like, you didn't want to, but you got to do it now. You got to embrace it. As far as even embracing, I got to fight my uncle. I got to put hands on a family member, like, in order to do this. And that's just a part of the journey. So, and it resonated for me a lot. It's like sometimes you're in a position where you may not necessarily want to do it, but you're the only person qualified. You're the only person that will do this. If you sit back and do it, it's not going to get done. So embrace it, So yeah, super, super fire. And that's our episode. But before we get out of here, we like to make sure that we give y'all an opportunity to tune in with us to check out our next film before we release on the next Tuesday. So without further ado, our next episode will be a film picked out by our girl Mia G. So this is a reveal to everybody. So what's the next film that we're reviewing?
All right, guys. The next film that we will be reviewing is the classic 1995 Pixar film starring Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. What's the film?
Toy Story.
The first one, right? That's the first 95's first one, yeah.
95.
Absolutely the first.
Man, listen. I can't wait. That is a great pick.
So good.
Y'all don't even know I have another alternate cover. Well, Ash knows, but Mia don't know. I have an alternate cover where I designed our font in the style of Toy Story.
What?
Yeah, that might end up being our shirts. Yeah, I'll probably send it to you, but that might end up being a like a little rollout of some shirts that we do. But like, that's how much I love Toy Story. Wow, I am excited. Toy Story. It's about to get even deeper. It gets deep, Jake. It gets deep. So, but yeah, that's our episode, y'all. If y'all want to reach out to us, y'all can find us on Instagram, Childish Grownups. So y'all can email us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Y'all know how we do it. Don't quite got an outro yet, but y'all know that. Shouts out to the Stoop kids. All of y'all out there. We're going back to the Stoop. In the meantime, thank y'all for tuning in.
Bye.
Holla, holla, holla.